Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It's Wednesday, August the 6th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local share market is set for a new record high with ASX futures up around 0.1%. It was a mixed session on global equity markets overnight, with European shares closing higher, buoyed by better than expected corporate earnings. While on Wall Street, stocks ended lower as investors weighed the impact of tariffs, with businesses saying new import taxes are pushing costs higher. Shares of KFC parent Yum Brands fell after the company missed estimates for the second quarter as steep trade duties restricted consumer spending. Caterpillar warned US tariffs would pose significant challenges in the second half of the year and costed up to $1.5 billion this year. Advanced Micro Devices forecast third quarter revenue above estimates, anticipating demand for its AI chips from businesses rushing to expand infrastructure to dominate the latest technology. However, its shares fell 4% in extended trade. Marriott International cut its full-year forecast for revenue growth and profit, signalling slower travel demand and economic uncertainties. And in Europe, Diageo gained after the world's biggest spirits maker forecast flat 2026 sales despite US tariffs and upped its cost savings targets. German chip maker Infineon gained after it slightly raised its full-year profit outlook. And BP said it will review how best to develop and monetize oil and gas production assets and consider more cost cuts to boost shareholder returns after meeting second quarter profit expectations. Well, the US trade deficit narrowed 16% in June to $60.2 billion on a sharp drop in consumer goods imports. Exports of goods and services totaled $277 billion, down more than from $278 billion in May, while the trade gap with China shrank to its lowest in more than 21 years, tumbling by around $9.5 billion. The US has extended the tariff deadline with China following trade talks in Sweden last week. The US currently imposes a 30% tariff on most Chinese imports, which have fueled a steep drop-off in imports from China to be at their lowest level since 2009. Meanwhile, the ISM Services Index in the US fell and is only marginally in expansion, with prices paid rising to a high since October 2022 and new orders and employment falling. Meanwhile, President Trump has said the US would be initially putting a small tariff on pharmaceutical imports before increasing the rate in a year or so, saying in 1 year, 1.5 years maximum, it's going to go to 150 and then to 250% because we want pharmaceuticals made in our country. And he said he would also announce tariffs on semiconductors and chips in the next week or so. Well, US Treasury yields were mostly higher following 3 straight days of declines, but eased from earlier levels after data showed the stalling activity in services. The US 10-year was at 4.2%, the 2-year at 3.72%. And the US dollar index was volatile but little changed, and the Aussie has risen to 64.7 US cents. And Bitcoin is lower, trading at around 113,000 US dollars. Oil prices have slipped as rising OPEC plus supply and concerns of weaker global demand countered President Trump's threats to India over its Russian oil purchases. Brent crude futures around 1.5% lower at $67 a barrel. Copper fell more than 1%. Iron ore rose almost 1% to $101 a tonne, and gold climbed to a near 2-week high, supported by growing expectations of US interest rate cuts. Spot gold at $3,381 an ounce. It's quiet on the data docket today. On the earnings front, though, results are expected from AMP, News Corp, REA Group, BWP Trust, Centuria Industrial REIT, Charter Hall Long WALE REIT, and Emerald Resources. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.